In the history of modern technology, only a few individuals have truly changed the world. One of those rare visionaries was Steve Jobs. Before we begin this inspiring story, make sure to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon, because today we're talking about a man who started in a garage, was fired from his own company, and then came back to change the world. He was not just a businessman, not just an inventor. He was a dreamer, a perfectionist, and a leader who believed technology should be beautiful, simple, and powerful. From starting a company in a small garage to building one of the most valuable companies in the world, Steve Jobs' life was filled with success, failure, innovation, and determination. Steve Jobs was born on February 24, 1955, in San Francisco, California. But his life started with a challenge. Shortly after he was born, he was given up for adoption. He was adopted by Paul and Clara Jobs, a loving couple living in Mountain View, California. His father worked as a mechanic and loved repairing machines. As a child, Steve spent many hours watching his father build and fix things in the garage. One day, his father told him something important. When you build something, build it well. Even the parts people cannot see should be made perfectly. That lesson would later shape the philosophy of Apple Inc. As Steve grew older, he developed a deep curiosity for electronics. During high school, he met a brilliant young engineer named Steve Wozniak. The two became close friends. They shared a passion for technology and a dream to build something new. Together, they built electronic devices, including a famous invention called the blue box that could make free long-distance phone calls. This small project proved something powerful. Two people with the right idea could change the world. After high school, Steve Jobs joined Reed College, but college was expensive and many classes felt meaningless to him. So after only 6 months, he dropped out. However, he continued attending classes he loved. One of them was calligraphy. At that time, it seemed completely unrelated to technology, but years later, that knowledge helped create the beautiful fonts inside Apple computers. In 1976, inside a small garage, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak started a company. That company was called Apple Inc. Their first product was the Apple I computer. Soon after, they created the Apple II computer. The Apple II became one of the most successful personal computers ever built. Apple began growing rapidly. By the age of 25, Steve Jobs had already become a millionaire. But success does not always last forever. In 1985, something shocking happened. After internal conflicts at Apple, Steve Jobs was removed from the company. The man who created Apple was forced to leave Apple. Imagine that. At just 30 years old, he had lost the company he built. But Steve Jobs did not give up. Instead, he started a new company called Next. At the same time, he invested in a small animation studio called Pixar Animation Studios. In 1995, Pixar released a movie called Toy Story. It became the first fully computer-animated movie in history. The movie was a massive success. Later, Pixar created famous films like Finding Nemo and The Incredibles. Meanwhile, Apple was struggling. In 1997, Apple bought Next, and something incredible happened. Steve Jobs returned to Apple. When he returned, Apple was close to bankruptcy, but Steve Jobs had a vision. Soon, Apple introduced revolutionary products: the iMac, the iPod, and then, pause, the product that changed the world: the iPhone. Later came the iPad. These innovations transformed how people communicate, work, and live.
But life brought another challenge. In 2003, Steve Jobs was diagnosed with a rare form of pancreatic cancer. Despite his illness, he continued working and leading Apple. In 2011, he stepped down as CEO and passed leadership to Tim Cook. On October 5, 2011, Steve Jobs passed away at the age of 56. But his vision, his creativity, and his courage continue to inspire millions around the world. Steve Jobs showed the world something powerful. Failure is not the end. Sometimes, failure is just the beginning of something greater. His message still inspires people everywhere. Stay hungry, stay foolish. And the greatest lesson from his life is this: one idea, combined with courage and determination, can truly change the world.